I've never been a believer of the paranormal. All my life I have been a fairly logical person, so much to the point that I almost became a math and physics teacher. But this story takes place long before that, back when I was just a young boy. I lived a fairly normal life growing up in Sweden, partaking in activities like playing football. To be clear to the Americans listening to this story, by football, I mean football, and not hand-egg. Anyway, this all happened one night when I was at home in my family's house. For context, my bedroom was upstairs and I was already sound asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night and everything was dark. I thought I felt a kind of itching sensation on my face, but since I had quite long hair as a child, I simply dismissed it as being some of my hair getting in my face. Despite this, I felt uneasy and got out of bed. Walking around, things didn't feel quite real. It was almost as if I was in a dream-like state. But I knew it was real. Suddenly I heard a strange pattern of footsteps downstairs. The footsteps were moving in a rhythmic pattern that sounded like a combination of the drum patterns from songs made by Metallica, 30 Seconds to Mars, and Avenged Sevenfold, which I knew intimately well as I enjoyed playing the drums to these kinds of songs. I knew I had to go downstairs to investigate. But as I approached the stairs, they suddenly vanished before my eyes. That's right, my stairs literally disappeared from this realm of existence. I was trapped upstairs. At least, that is what I thought. I stuck my foot off the ledge and realized that my stairs were in fact still there and that it was just an optical illusion from the darkness that made me think they disappeared. As strange as that was, I was now confident that I could go downstairs. I did my very best to slowly descend the stairs without making a sound. When I reached the bottom I realized that the footsteps were coming from outside. I exited through the back door and scanned my eyes through the darkness, looking for what the source of those sounds could be. I adjusted my gaze towards some trees, and that is when I saw it. A single eye delivering a piercing stare directly back at me. It belonged to a huge figure that was over 3 meters tall. I knew it was not human. I immediately assumed it was a ghost and ran back inside, knowing that it saw me. As I ran, I heard its rhythmic footsteps pursue me. I locked the door behind me and hid out of view from the window so that it couldn't see me. I hid for what felt like hours, the sound of its footsteps circling my house. Suddenly it all came to a stop. I glanced at my clock and saw that it was 5:15 in the morning. And the sun was already up. It was the strangest thing. 1 second, the noises were there and the next second they were completely gone. I never told anyone about what happened that day, but I have tried doing my own research to figure out what I saw that day. I believe that what I saw that day was not a ghost, nor was it a skinwalker or wendigo. Instead, I am almost certain that what I saw was a gigopler. While often confused with skinwalkers, I remembered that this creature only had a single eye, which lines up exactly with what I have read about gigoplers. I hope that no one else has to endure the sheer horror of a gigopler encounter, and I feel lucky to be alive. Hey, everyone. I've been an avid camper and hiker for as long as I can remember. I've encountered my fair share of eerie experiences in the wilderness, but nothing could have prepared me for the chilling encounter I had with a gigopler deep in the heart of the forest. It was late summer, and I decided to embark on a solo camping trip in a secluded area known for its untouched beauty and haunting tranquility. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the dense woods, I set up camp near a babbling creek. The rhythmic sound of water against the rocks was soothing, creating a false sense of security that would soon be shattered. Night fell, and I nestled inside my sleeping bag, the campfire crackling nearby. I remember the stillness of the night, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves in the breeze. The forest had an eerie, foreboding atmosphere, but I shrugged it off, attributing it to my overactive imagination. As I lay there, on the cusp of sleep, a feeling of unease crept over me. It was as if someone, or something, was watching me intently. I dismissed it as paranoia, but the sensation persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. Reluctantly, I unzipped my sleeping bag and peered into the darkness. My heart froze in my chest as I caught sight of a pair of glowing eyes, shimmering like embers in the distance. They were too far away to make out any details, but their intensity sent shivers down my spine. My instincts screamed at me to stay hidden, to avoid whatever lurked beyond the veil of darkness. But curiosity got the better of me, and I knew I had to investigate. I grabbed my flashlight and cautiously ventured towards the source of the mysterious glow. The woods seemed to close in around me, the air thick with an oppressive silence. Every twig snap and distant hoot of an owl made me jump, my nerves stretched to their breaking point. Yet, I pressed on, drawn inexorably towards the unknown. The trees thinned out, revealing a small clearing bathed in pale moonlight. And there, at the edge of the clearing, I saw it. The gig-oppler, a creature from folklore, thought to be nothing more than a legend. It stood tall, towering over the surrounding undergrowth. Its hulking form was covered in matted fur, mottled with patches of decaying leaves and moss. A single, piercing eye glowed with an otherworldly intensity, fixed upon me. Frozen with fear, I watched as the gig-oppler slowly moved closer, its steps deliberate and silent. Its grotesque figure emanated an aura of malevolence, as if it fed on the fear it inspired. I was trapped in its gaze, unable to tear my eyes away or even move a muscle. It was as though it held some terrible power over me, bending me to its will. But then, a sudden surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins, snapping me out of my trance. With renewed determination, I broke free from the creature's grasp and stumbled backward, scrambling to put distance between us. The gig-oppler let out a guttural, menacing growl, its intentions clear. It hungered for a chase, relishing the hunt. I ran as if my life depended on it, crashing through the underbrush, fueled by sheer terror. The forest seemed to twist and distort around me, as if conspiring with the gig-oppler to ensnare me forever. The creature pursued relentlessly, its heavy footsteps closing in, its breath hot on the back of my neck. Just when I thought all hope was lost, salvation appeared in the form of distant headlights. I emerged from the woods, panting and covered in sweat, flagging down the passing car. The gig-oppler vanished into the depths of the forest, its malevolent presence retreating into the night. I returned home with a newfound respect for the unknown dangers lurking in the wilderness. The gig-oppler remains etched in my memory, a reminder that there are forces out there that defy explanation. So, fellow adventurers, be wary as you wander through the woods, for you never know what you might encounter in the shadows. Let's not meet the gig-oppler again. Hey, everyone. I wanted to share a bone-chilling experience I had a while back. It's the kind of encounter that makes you question reality and leaves you with a lingering sense of unease. Let me preface this by saying that I'm an avid hiker and enjoy exploring remote areas. But what I encountered that day in the woods was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. I was out on one of my usual solo hikes in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. The trail I had chosen was known for its tranquility, seldom frequented by other hikers. The sun was starting to set, casting long shadows through the trees, but I wasn't worried. I had explored these woods countless times and considered myself well prepared for any unexpected situations. As I ventured deeper into the forest, a feeling of unease began to creep up on me. It was as if I was being watched, and every now and then, I caught glimpses of movement just out of the corner of my eye. My heart started to race, and my instincts told me something was terribly wrong. The forest, once a place of solace, now felt like a cage. Suddenly, a deafening silence fell upon the woods. No birds chirping, no rustling leaves, just an eerie stillness that sent shivers down my spine. That's when I heard it, a low, guttural growl that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the forest. I froze, my senses on high alert. My mind raced, trying to rationalize what I had just heard. Then, I saw it. Standing between the trees, bathed in the fading light, was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen. It stood tall on two legs, hunched over, with matted fur covering its body. The creature's most distinguishing feature was its single, piercing yellow eye, staring right into my soul. I could feel a primal fear grip me, paralyzing my body. The Gigopler, as it's often referred to in local legends, resembled the terrifying hybrid of a Skinwalker and a Wendigo. Its presence alone filled the air with an overwhelming malevolence, and I knew I had stumbled upon something ancient and dangerous. As if sensing my terror, the Gigopler let out another blood-curdling howl that shattered the silence of the forest. Adrenaline surged through my veins, and survival instinct kicked in. I turned and sprinted away, pushing my body to its limits. I could hear the creature's heavy footsteps behind me, growing closer with every passing second. Miraculously, I managed to find my way back to the trailhead, my lungs burning and my legs trembling. I collapsed onto the ground, gasping for breath, but I knew I had escaped with my life. I was shaken to the core, my mind replaying the encounter over and over again. Since that terrifying day, I've refrained from venturing deep into the woods alone. The Gigopler remains a haunting memory etched in my mind, a reminder of the unfathomable creatures that lurk in the shadows of our world. So, if you ever find yourself wandering through the remote forests, keep your senses sharp and your wits about you. You never know what ancient terrors lie in wait, ready to remind us that we are not the apex predators we believe ourselves to be. Let's hope our paths never cross with the one-eyed horrors that prowl in the darkness.